welcome to SquadTalks over coffee. I'm drinking not coffee.
You got a Waterloo? I respect Waterloo.
Lemon lime.
I've got a sparkling water blog, Kevin. You probably didn't realize that, do you? I'm a big connoisseur.
I'm missing out. Boy, that tastes like something I'd clean my kitchen floors with.
But I've got a cup of coffee and a new Squad mug. It was a Christmas present for all of us on the team. Quality. And it was handmade pottery by some feller in Bowling Green, I believe. Does that sound right?
God bless him. Yeah, sure.
It's a cool mug. Anyway, I've got my afternoon cup of coffee in here. We're ready to talk about.
Let's talk about sales.
Sales.
So today, yes, it's all about sales. So today we're going to talk about sales plans.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to have a plan. So we're into a new year, and we've done some planning and lots of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll let people in a little bit on what that looks like for us. And you, being the person who heads up our sales efforts, are the foremost authority to talk about it. So let's hear it. So,
well, yeah, I think, for us as a business, it always starts toward the end of the year. We get away, our leadership team, and we have an annual planning retreat. We operate on the EOS operating system, entrepreneurial operating system. So anyway, that's part of our process, always has been. From that is where we tend to come up with our revenue goals, our larger, picture goals, metrics, a budget for the next year. Mm-hmm. So those things are kind of in place heading into the year. And we've got a number we want to hit revenue-wise. We know we've kind of got X amount of recurring revenue from partnerships and hosting, some commissions. And then we know what our gap is. And we factor in things like retention and all that kind of stuff on the planning side. But in terms of our gap, all right, we've got to hit this number. That's where we go and we say, all right, we probably need a sales plan to do that. Yeah. And that would be like, how many websites are we going to maybe sell this year? How many packaged hourly deals? How many partnerships we're going to bring on board? Programmatic type things, videos. Kevin, Cody appreciates those. So that's a huge part of it, is figuring that out. I mean, I guess you don't have to do that. You could just go, all right, we need to sell, $50,000, $100,000 a month, and we don't care how we get it. We get a little more granular than that, and keep score on a lot of it on a weekly, monthly basis, which is good. So that's all fine and dandy. We've got that actually sheet you helped me put together. We're going to be presenting that to the team. But then how do you get there? What's the plan, the activity to get you to the results? That's kind of the more important part. Anybody can put a number on a page, Kevin, or a spreadsheet.
That's right. So it's good to have a plan. It's good to know where you're going. Activity for activity's sake isn't always great. Mm-hmm. It's good to have that directed in a certain way. So we kind of have that broken out. So tell us about it. What activity are you setting out to do? How are you sort of drumming up business and creating leads and all those kind of things?
Well, it's all AI at this point, Kevin. But
that's
QR codes.
The QR codes and AI. That's for another Squad Talk.
So we're getting back to the basics this year, and the first things that I talk about are kind of prospecting in my mind. I grew up, I'll say, in the insurance investment business with Lincoln Financial Group, Prudential Financial, and boy, do they ever teach you about prospecting, how to meet new people. Because you're 23 years old with not a dime, and you're trying to get people who have money to give you their money. Yeah. And that's a challenging thing. So you got to be a good prospector. So, but you wake up and you realize we haven't done some of those things for the last few years. We haven't gotten out and about. Of course, COVID made it a little challenging to get out and about and do some things. But that's where we're starting. And so I've got a goal personally this year to have 100 cups of coffee. I like coffee. Other people like coffee. It's almost like the what was the movie Good Will Hunting? Where it's like, it's kind of arbitrary. You could have caramels or whatever. So,
we have coffee.
Would you want to have some caramels?
Yeah, caramels. Yeah.
But we're going to go with coffee. I like coffee. There's lots of good coffee shops around. And so my goal is to get out and have 100 cups of coffee. Primarily, a lot of those are just networking. Yeah. How can I help you? Good to connect with you. I learn a lot of things that way. Some of them will be sales connects, people who want to get right down to it and figure out if we're a good fit for a project partnership. And some of it will be recruiting, keeping tabs on the next new person who might be a good fit here at the squad. But all in all, that's my goal, 100 cups of coffee. And I'm going to go through the process of how can I help you? How could you help us? Referrals, that conversation will be had. So not quite as formal as the Prudential days. They used to make us go in with a little card already ready to write a note and say, who are the 6 people you know who you'd like to introduce me to? Would you write them a note? And so it was a cool process, but I'm not going to be that forward.
A little forward.
It is a little forward. So, but we're going to do that. And what makes me like the principle behind that I love is comes from a gentleman, Doug Weed, RIP, passed away last year. But he taught this principle. He was a highly successful, one of the top motivational speakers in the world in terms of money paid to speak. The successful entrepreneur. He was a historian. He's written a lot of books. You used to see him on news channels all the time. But he had this principle he called the third party principle, which is you have no credibility to promote Kevin Peterson. I have no credibility to promote Bryce Raley. But someone else has all the credibility in the world to promote you. Yeah. So that's why referrals to me are just huge. Yeah. We're a marketing company, so we're out beating our own drum and we're doing that for others. Yeah. But the credibility that comes from a referral, which we just got a really strong one, which just closed today. Actually, good timing. Is just huge. And so that principle I think is key. With this, going to get out, going to have coffee with folks, going to see good things will happen. Yeah. And here's what I always joke about over the years is I'm not going to sell Cody or you anything, in the office here. Yeah. You're not going to buy anything from the squad. Right. You work here. Right. And so I got to get out and about. So, yeah. Yep. And I would encourage you to do the same if it is a fit for your industry. So
100 cups of coffee. Yeah. Referrals. What else?
That's it. Yeah. No,
that's not it. Now, that's 100 cups of coffee over the course of the year. Yeah, correct? We're not a couple times in a day. No, so if you say twice a week, you're connecting with someone.
Yeah, a couple times a week.
That'll bear fruit as you.
Yes, it already has in January.
Awesome.
So
yeah,
we've got about 6 or 7 under the belt so far. Got to pick up the pace a little bit. Yeah. But the second thing is we have team referrals. We've got team members here. They get a percentage if they refer something in as an incentive, if we were able to close it and we get some good referrals from our team members to their network, their connections, and we've closed a handful of those in the last 6 months, and that's picked up a little bit. We've always had that around. We've sometimes talked about it more, and it's probably just a makeup of who the team is right now. We've got some team members who've got a business development kind of mindset and a little hustle kind of approach, and that's been cool. So. Yeah. Another is strategic alliances, kind of partnerships. We've just got some folks who it's a natural fit for them to refer to us, and maybe us to them. So making connections with them. Some of those folks will even come in and do talks with our team throughout the year on whether it's our print relationship, our signage relationship, our human resources consultant. Sure. It's just a good natural fit to build a referral network with some of those folks. Yeah. And so that'll be a big part. Yeah. And there's some other things we're going to do. So yeah. So get a cup of coffee or drink of coffee.
Yeah. So things have opened up. You mentioned earlier that things sort of slowed down. We sort of pulled back from sales activity, as you talked about 100 cups of coffee, because the world sort of closed up for a little bit.
I mean, my favorite coffee shop's literally closed. So there are a couple of them back open. But.
Right. But events are picking back up. Is that a part of what we're trying to do? Is just to get out and have a face?
Yeah. We've never been a huge event. We have a couple of events at the squad here every year. Our Stories Worth Telling event. Right. Plug next fall. Yep. Great event if you can make it out. So we've had a few events that we've hosted through the years, and we've been to event, but we've never been a big, join 35 chambers of commerce. We did that for one season in the business and spent a lot of money and don't want to go back there. But we've decided let's be, strategic with it and strategic doers. So we're in the Middletown Chamber of Commerce. That's where we operate. We're right here. Always like to help out the local, business community. So we've got a presence there, part of GLI, and then we're part of a couple other groups, the EOS Users Group, a little group called CBM. And it'll be those. It'll be like, here's these 4 or 5, different places that we'll, have somebody representing the squad at and interacting with. And we never approach it in a real sales way. If something good comes from it, cool. We're not there just trying to hand out cards, meet 1,000 people. It's just about building relationships and seeing if something organic can come from it.
Something natural, organic. Yeah. And so then from that, you kind of picture, I'm making this connection here, and this person knows that person, and you're out in those events. But we're also just have our normal lives. Yeah. Take your kids to school, or they're involved in an activity. I mean, there's opportunities outside of events that we can take advantage of.
And that's like kind of your circles of influence, if you will, is what we used to call it back in the financial services business. I hadn't done this exercise in 20 years probably. Mm-hmm. But just a few weeks ago, I just sat with a piece of paper and drew a circle in the middle and went, all right, this is me. All right, what are these little circles that I run in? I got a church circle. I got my kids go to this CEC school. Oh, they go to Cal too. That. Oh, I coach softball, travel softball. Oh, I've got, I go to a local wellness club called Wi-Fi. Meet a lot of people there.
Yeah.
I came up at Lake Forest, play golf
country
there. So
clubs.
so I came up with all these circles where I might meet people and interact, and then it's just like, just go be there.
Right.
And to me, it's always about getting interested in other people, asking questions, learning about them.
Right.
If something comes of it, that's awesome. I've never done sales on a real forceful,
right.
Cold calling, spamming, email.
You don't want to be that guy.
See my inbox, Kevin?
Yeah. You don't want to be that guy who's got the business card he's handing out like they're, but just being present, being natural, taking an active interest in people's lives and what's going on and the communities you're a part of. And
the chance to leverage that is way more than it was the last few years. When ball games and things were canceled and people weren't having events and so we'll get out and do some golf scrambles too. To me, those are gold. Like, you can go play golf, have fun, support a good cause, nonprofit or ministry, and then be with 100 to 120 other people who are probably in your target audience.
Right. Yeah.
So those are a no-brainer to me to do a handful of those every year. So
So that's a lot of activity. That's stuff that sales can do independently.
Yeah.
You can, roll up your sleeves, go out there and do those things. We're a marketing company, so we understand the power of good marketing and how that supports sales. So in your mind, as our primary sales driver, what are some things that you see marketing doing to support sales?
Yeah, I think it starts with this concept that we've bought into for the last probably 12 years of our 15 years of existence, which is inbound marketing.
Yeah.
Let's create content. Let's tell a story. Tell your story, grow your business is our tagline.
Okay.
So let's tell a story with content. Content has changed over the years from just blogs and texts and ebooks to portfolios and case studies and video and so many more other aspects. But it's about drawing people in to your site, and then from there it's how do we convert them? How do we nurture them? There's email marketing, obviously. Social media plays a role.
Yeah.
So your CRM, that's a thing that we've talked about a lot the last few years, even on videos.
Yeah.
Is how do we cultivate that? It's gotten a lot smarter. It's gotten more like a source of truth. It's kind of connected to our accounting. There's some of the same information in there, which is good.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen overnight, but it's been a process of getting that to be the place where we can go in and and you and I have conversations about marketing now. It's about let's send this to this list of people who host with us.
Targeted.
This list of our partners.
Right.
Let's get a message out about our new packaged hourly service to our whole list.
Yeah.
And so we can be a lot smarter about that. And then you just kind of go through an organized CRM and you see oh, that person hasn't done business with us in a while. They might host with us, but they haven't done another project with us in a while.
Right.
And so there's a concept a guy over in the UK came up with years ago called Peter Thompson. I think he's still active on Twitter. And I love listening to him talk. Anybody who's British, South African, Australian. But he talks about the magic matrix. And it's basically like taking your clients and then saying here's all the things that we sell.
Yeah.
And what boxes have they checked over the years? Oh, they host with us and they partner with us. They've never done video work with us. On down the line, as you add services, it gets even cooler.
Right.
But that's kind of a way to think about this is because so many businesses bring people in, focus on new business,
right,
serve existing clients, but they let people go out the back end of their CRM just constantly.
Yeah.
By not either offering something that would be useful to them or staying in contact with them, staying top of mind. And so those are things that kind of jump out right out of the gate with marketing. You and I have also talked account-based marketing lately. Yeah. It's a little bit of a hybrid between the two, prospecting and marketing, because that's, within HubSpot, we've said, all right, here's 25 to 30 people we'd like to pursue.
Right.
Which means we're probably going to do, we might mail a postcard, Kevin, actually put a piece of mail in the mail.
Like with with the little stickers that you buy for $25 a piece at the building you go to?
And but a series of several touches, maybe a LinkedIn connection, a post, just to try to get on their radar. Because at this point we've looked at them and vetted them and feel like we'd be a good fit to work together and would be excited about marketing their brand, their company.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a little hybrid where we're going to do account-based marketing. Prospecting is out trying to find referrals and new connections. account base is a targeted marketing approach, where everything else we were just talking about is kind of pulling people in who
Sure.
are fishing where the fish are.
Yeah.
Looking for your services,
Yeah.
which a lot of people find us when they're looking for, inbound marketing agencies, marketing firms, Louisville,
Yeah.
that kind of
Digital
thing.
marketing agency. So we're going to talk in a future video more specifically about how marketing supports sales and kind of drill into that. But that's kind of a little overview. One thing people don't often think about when they think about sales is the idea of developing new, service offerings, new products, even maybe under the larger guise of business development. But what does that look like for us here at the Squad, or for you as you think about, driving sales forward?
One goal that we've set in the next 3 years really is to increase our, I hate to call it residual income. We still do things for some of this, commissions and hosting revenue and whatnot. Right. It's not pure residual, like somebody's buying a product and you're getting paid on it maybe. But how do we increase that percentage of revenue in the business? Just fighting against inflation, a small business in 2023 has got a lot of challenges.
Right.
Going against the global megacorp, Kevin.
It's a real thing, yeah.
So anyway, in doing that, we've said it'd be strategic for us to, replace or to grow that part of our revenue.
Productized offerings, things that are not exchanging time for money.
Yes.
But getting out there with, offerings that people maybe outside of our target market would benefit from. As a transaction.
Exactly. And this is something a lot of agencies have went to, or I say a lot, I've seen it in the agency world where it starts to become a little bit of a hybrid model. We've got a group of people that we do work for you, the for you model, the service business, traditionally. Projects, partnerships, programs, we do it for you, which is great. We're going to keep doing that. We always will.
Right.
Then there's a done with you component. How can we lead a group of people through a process that would be beneficial? Maybe this is smaller businesses that are bootstrapping. They need guidance, consulting, maybe the right tool here or there, and then, don't do that, do this, and then guidance.
Right.
But they're able to bootstrap some of the things on their own, or have a small, nimble team that could. So I'd like to break into that. And then there's the whole DIY market, which is like people looking for information. They want a course on marketing. They want a course
on how to do it. Yeah.
Or come guidance. In and set up Canva with my brand standards for me.
Yeah.
So that I could be rocking and rolling.
Right.
Like if you watch nonprofits and ministries and athletic department.
Right.
You give any rogue person a Canva account without some brand standards and proper logo files and such, and you get all kind of
get out of hand fast. Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And so I think there's those three components, and then there's just we're looking for another CRM marketing tool. We got our eyes on a couple that really works for small businesses. We use HubSpot a lot for more mid to larger companies, but just something that really works and scales for the small business is something I could see us, offering in the next, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. So that's it for us. I mean, there's a lot of thought and energy that goes into sales. It's not just getting out there, in a one-dimensional way, meeting people. There's things that marketing does to support sales. There's things that we do to develop new business ideas and opportunities. What maybe in closing is one bit of encouragement as you give someone early on in the years, they're, sort of energized and they're ready to meet some of their goals. How would you encourage someone? What's a good step they should take?
Yeah, I think, measuring, activity is important to measure, obviously. But just measuring, like if you've got goals, just measuring those and not getting too far out. You're into March and you're going, how are we doing relative to what we said we were going to do?
Yeah.
Like if I look at that stuff daily, I tend to want to take action daily. Yeah. To bridge the gaps.
Right.
And so that's my encouragement is like scorecard some of this stuff. I mean, I hate the word or what KPI terminology. We call it scorecards or whatever, metrics, whatever.
Yeah.
Get some things that are important for you to measure in your sales and look at them every week. And then that fact alone ought to make you and give you some urgency to get on it. And then, I think we're going to talk, like you said, in a future video about marketing, supporting sales. And I think that's a big part is to dive into that. Like what could your marketing department, we're an agency, if you're partnering with an agency, do to help move the needle.
Exactly. So, that's what we do. We love helping people. If you're in a spot where your sales could use some support, we're here to help out. Talk to Bryce. He's your guy. He'll buy you coffee.
Yes. Yes.
And you could be one of the 100 lucky few. It's an exclusive group of people, 100, no more, no less this year, get to have copy
Yeah.
the price.
Yeah.
So hit us
You
up.
could be a part of our sales plan. You could help us meet a goal.
There you
It'd be
go.
fantastic.
That's it. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.